Hello and welcome to another episode of Pasa Hialeah. Hi, my name is Dr. Tony Cruz. I'm the campus president here at the Hialeah campus of Miami-Dade College. And today we have two special guests. Usually we have some guests that are from the community, and now we have two guests that are from our campus and two extraordinary professors. We have Dr. Lamazares and we have Professor Calderin. And the two of them are going to talk about the things that they're doing on campus to engage our students and to make the student experience better. So, first, we'll start out with Dr. Lamazares. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, happy to be here, by the way. I've been teaching for a long, long time. I don't even want to say how long. I think is upwards of 30 years. But basically, I am a Hialeah person. I graduated from Hialeah High. When I migrated from Cuba, I lived in Hialeah. And, I think our president, Pumariega, calls herself a Hialeah girl. So I'm going to just go ahead and, just say I'm a Hialeah woman. I don't know if I'm a girl anymore. I began as a student at the North Campus. At the time, Hialeah was a center. So I was a student there, and it was a wonderful experience. And I began tutoring and writing. And that's how I found my calling, that I really wanted to teach for the rest of my life. So after that, I just got all my degrees in various places. And for a while, I went to the University of Central Florida to teach. I taught creative writing there. And then I decided that I wanted to come back to my first love, to the students of this community. So 13 years ago, I came to the Hialeah campus and was fortunate enough to work with Professor Calderin and, with all our faculty. So I love Hialeah. I love the community and I love the campus.
Thank you.
And I'm Professor Calderin. I was raised in Hialeah. Something I love about our campus is that from our learning resources window, I could see my apartments when I grew up as a kid. So when I regular, like a little nostalgic, when I was on campus, I would be able to look out and see it. I guess a similar story. I grew up loving literature, and it was always like the main drive for me, and it kind of really was a molding force in my life. I stayed for a little bit in the local community. I went to FIU for a couple of years, but then I left to UNC Chapel Hill, and I earned my bachelor's and my master's from UNC. And then I taught in North Carolina also for a little bit. And it was a great experience to kind of like see a different part of the world. And to bring it back to Hialeah, so I have a deep love for Hialeah. I spent a lot of time in Westland Mall across from the campus as a kid. Effectively, I almost like lived in that mall and the arcade in the mall, and in the bookstores in the mall. I spent a lot of time in those bookstores. So it's really great to be back in the community. It's really great to work on our magazine Café Cultura and our students on the campus, because I feel that I could help them kind of see like the power of literature. And help them grow. That's really my main drive as a professor, is helping them grow. So that's a little bit about me. And again, it's just an honor to work at our campus and a privilege.
Well, thank you both for sharing your stories, and they're very important because they just show how people from Hialeah can do great things, right? And both of you are giving back on a daily basis to our students and our community, and we really appreciate that. One of the things that I know that you do, and both of you are extraordinary professors, but in addition to that, I think that you are really great mentors to our students and great examples. And as that, I know that you do teach. Obviously, that's the main thing that you do, but you do other things. So, what are some of the things that you do, each of you do, to engage our students both inside and outside the classroom?
Go ahead.
Sure. So I think the main thing that I feel that we might contribute, one of the main things that we contribute, is the work on our magazine. So we're both the faculty advisors for a magazine called Café Cultura. It's a publication that we publish it once a year. We spent all year working on collecting student work, poetry, short fiction, visual arts, photography, and then we publish it, and we also send it off for competitions. So like in the classroom, we help them grow with their writing. We teach creative writing in our department. So a lot of our entries for Café Cultura come from our creative writing program. But then also they have meetings, weekly meetings, maybe once or twice a week, depending on when we are in our production cycle, to really bring the magazine to fruition. So those are some of the things that we do with them in and out of the classroom.
Great.
Yes, I would say inside the classroom, my approach to teaching is just to engage students as much as I can. So in the regular classroom, I would do a lot of group work, a lot of I give points for participating. I just do all of that kind of work, individual conferences also, so that students sit down with me and talk about not only their writing, but their goals. What is it that they're interested in? So I kind of nudge them pretty gently to kind of pursue those interests. And so we have so many clubs on campus. We have, of course, the Café Cultura Club and so many others. And, I really encourage students to become involved outside the classroom. Another thing is that we have is the community service, the service learning that we do. And, in the classroom, my students do community hours. And by doing community volunteer work, I think they discover a lot about themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's another way that we get them to engage in real life and real life problems and solutions.
Yes. Well, that's terrific. Those are some great ways to engage our students. We all know that the more a student is engaged inside and outside the classroom, the more successful they will be in their academic career. So we really appreciate that. Café Cultura, right? So Café Cultura, let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's go a little bit deeper. I know that it's a great literary and arts magazine. It has a lot of accolades that it has gotten in several years now. Again, this year it's getting some more accolades. I'll let you talk a little bit more about that. But so can you give me a little bit more information and about that? And yeah, thanks.
So I would say, to kind of start with the history, the literary magazine Café Cultura is produced and edited, and also all the pieces come from Hialeah students that are currently enrolled. So it is a terrific way for students to express their creativity on campus, and also to hone their editing skills, their writing skills, and their leadership skills. Because they get to be editors in chief, they get to run the meetings, as Professor Calderin was explaining. And so the way that it started in 2007. Professor Calderin and I were trying to remember the whole history. It started out with a little sort of saddle stitch, like a little notebook that had a big picture of a cafecito, a cup of cafecito. And the name Café Cultura was around as part of poetry readings and literary events on campus, and the students wanted to keep it as the name of their magazine. Not only is it about cafecito and the cultura, the culture of Hialeah, but it's also about cafes. Like, I think of it as the literary cafes and the culture of being in a cafe, talking about writing and talking about literature. So that's how it kind of started. And then it grew and grew and grew with the support of the campus, very much that way.
Definitely.
So what's like, what do we, or maybe even the present right now, because I know you're up for some awards. So it's like, so what's the present like, and what's the future going to look like for Café Cultura?
Well, the growth of the magazine, I've always appreciated how it was very organic. It started off as a small team, and then little by little it grew and grew. And as it was growing, we had more support from the campus community. And it was a point that, I think one of the things that I'm most proud of, and this is kind of speaking to the future, present and future, is that the magazine becomes a testament to the community. All the awards that we win, they're awards for Hialeah and for our students there. And there are years that we win awards that maybe other campuses might not win, or other colleges in the community don't win. So I think it's, there's a lot of pride in the fact that we could bring this recognition to our community, to our city. So, and for the future, it's always forward. We want to keep growing the magazine, making it better. The students are always interested in trying new things, so they're always a very creative group. So they talk about, like a stronger social media presence. I think they were discussing the idea of a podcast, possibly, creating something along those lines. I love the fact that we have this printed kind of like archive of our art, and it's a testament to our commitment to creativity. And we have in the immediate future, in January, we find out if we earned any state awards from the Florida College System Publications Association, which is the organization that governs the state competition. And then we'll also find out in March if we won anything on the national level, because we're a finalist for a crown from the Columbia Scholastic Press Association out of New York City. And we find out, so we know that we won a crown. We just don't know if it's a silver crown or a gold crown. In the past, we've earned a gold and a silver crown for our magazine, and it's a very prestigious award, and we're very proud of being able to help bring that to Hialeah.
This is terrific, and very appreciative of both of you working with the students on Café Cultura. I know that my interactions with the students from that group, while it's been limited, has been really extraordinary. They're very creative, like you said, very enthusiastic about what they do. And so it makes us all proud here on the Hialeah campus for what they're doing. This is really great stuff, and I do appreciate both of you and everything that you do for our students. Like I said, I mentioned before, you're both terrific professors, but in addition to that, the mentoring and the work that you do with our students outside the classroom really make that student experience even more wonderful for our students. So I want to thank you both for being with me here today. And I want to thank you all for joining us for this episode of Que Pasa Hialeah, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Thank you.